All right. Hold on, y'all, just a minute while I get my... I'm going to try to get my chat screen up. Pop out chat. All right. Let me flip this monitor. Man, we have come a long way learning how to use all these tools. Let's see. Oh, I guess this shows my latency. Not bad. All right. Good morning, everybody. Kevin here. Um, I really don't even know what to say or where to begin. It's Thursday, and we are moving forward. I'm not going to turn around. I want to turn around and start talking about the things in my studio. You know, speaking off of the cuff is it's a really interesting thing, and I'm starting to see it as more of a skill. The ability to just start talking without knowing where you're going to go, but then to just continue to talk and to find a pace that's slow enough for your mind to keep up, so that you can start moving into comfort, and to be able to start drawing from different sources until you can, they say there's that state of flow. I've said it a few times, but it's that flow state to where you're just being present and you're just sharing, and then hopefully things start making sense and you can start going somewhere with it. Like right now, I'm still feeling like I'm pulling from words within my head and pulling from ideas. And I've got different distractions within the studio that are trying to pull me away from that. For instance, I see myself in the screen, but I'm trying not to look at it. I have a chat screen here on the table, and I'm trying not to look at it, even though I know no one is chatting, so that, if I see it move, that would be a big bump to kind of pull me away. And then I also have a computer screen over here. And so I'm looking at the camera because I know that that's where we draw connection from, right? You will get a greater sense of me being present here with you, talking to you, if I can maintain contact with the lens. But there's so many different things that are trying to pull me away. And that could be just like an actual conversation, right? Like, how often do we sit down to talk to somebody and we're looking all over the place, or you're trying to have a conversation and they're sitting there looking at their phone, and doing this. And it's like, well, you know, they're not present. You know that they're only hearing a portion of what you're saying. And so, so it's really interesting, these skills that it takes to, to come into this environment and to start a live and to know that it's live, like you're present right now with the world. And as I've said, it could be anybody, somebody, or nobody at the same time. And you have to maintain this connection to a digital eyeball and not be distracted, and to stay on point, to stay on course. And you can see every now and again, my mind kind of steps back in time where I'm filtering all these other things going on. And it's a real trick. But I think that the more you do it, the more you do anything, the better you get. And it took me months of just sitting here staring at a live camera, feeling like a complete idiot. And it's like my mind just neglects me. It just goes away. And then I'm sitting here going, I think all day long. I think all day long. As a thinker, I overthink. I think all day long about all sorts of things. And yet I turn on a camera, and as soon as I do that, it just goes blank. And I'll just be like, I have no idea what is going on. And I think I do know what's going on. What it is the anxiety, whatever it produces. Is it cortisol or some, like, when you start getting that, when you start having fear rise up and it produces anxiety, and then that anxiety starts producing those chemicals within your brain, which create the flight or fight, flight, freeze type of a thing. When that takes place, I think your mind's ability for cognition is what goes away. What's up, Vongo? Welcome in. And so, yeah, that process of your brain trying to protect itself, for some reason you lose that really intimate cognition that allows you to just be present and to take a breath without fear, and then to engage in a conversation. And so it's been a really long journey to get to this place. But once you learn how, it just becomes more and more natural. So I encourage you, just because you don't know how to do something, Vongo, try, because you will learn over time. No, I'm not taking psychology classes, but I think that I can easily say, with social media and YouTube and all that, I have certainly watched my fair share of content. So I don't know if that's the worst kind of class to take, the world's school, but you can learn just about anything. But no, I don't really know much about psychology, other than, what time I've put into the internet. But my journey of self-discovery, started with a personality test. And that was probably like 2017. So I feel like a very late bloomer when it comes to understanding myself. But I credit my brother. We struggled in a relationship, and we worked together at doing cell phone repair. And he was like, you need to take a personality test. And I said, I don't want to take a personality test because I may not know my personality, but I know my personality enough to know that you would use your knowledge of my personality against me, and I would not be able to reciprocate because I don't care. Like, I just live life and I don't really care. But Caleb, my brother, he is really, he is really a shrewd individual. And I knew that he would be like, all right, Kevin's personality is like this. So if I do this, then I can get him to do that, and so on and so forth. Anyways, it's been a real struggle, but yeah, I was really against even knowing my own personality. Like, I fought it until I was just like, okay, I'll give it a try. So we took the Myers-Briggs, and I showed up as a INTP, introverted thinking, perceiving, um, introverted thinking, perceiving, INTP. Oh, intuitive perceiving. And so, anyways, I just took that information, and as I started researching it, what is an INTP? Man, it blew my mind. Like, it blew my mind to see people writing about me. And here I thought, like, I was the only one in the world, like, that struggled with who I was. And I go, oh, there's so many people out that share even pieces of it. Like, we all share the same pieces of information. We all share the similar, aspects of our mind, just like we all have arms and legs and body parts, and they all function the same, even though we all are different. So anyways, yeah, that was big. So no, not me in psychology. But I'm always down to learning if it helps. But yeah, it's really a good, it feels good to have this fear that created stagnation within social media. My whole life, like, I've never touched social media. It was just a few years ago I made my first post. And so I'm really late in the game, but understanding that it was just a fear, and that I knew I could learn it. I knew I could learn the tools, and I knew that I could overcome. I just started doing it. And man, it's one of the, it's an ugly process, and it really is hard to come to that place of vulnerability and just start peeling off those layers. But I feel like that's the strength. Like, that is the strength of a voice, is to be able to stand somewhere, anywhere, and say, this is who I am, and this is what I believe, and I'm going to stand up for that, regardless of how difficult it is. And so yeah. Vango, it's good to have you in. How are you doing? You getting ready for bed? We just found out they don't allow TikTok in India, and we are looking at starting to do work on TikTok. They seem to have a lot of tools that they don't offer on YouTube, and we've been weighing it out. Yeah, that's what someone else had said the other day that we had met. But we don't know. We know that there's a lot of creators that create for all the different channels, and I feel like if we have a computer and phones, that it may be easy enough just to go live on multiple platforms together. But man, going live and trying to create content, it was like you said the other day, editing. Like, all I need is an editor, and it's like, well, Yeah, that's that's the the gold. That's the golden something. I knew that being live was the hardest thing for me, and so that's what I went for. And now that I'm, a few months in, like three months in to going live and just getting to this place that we're sharing about, um, having an editor would probably be ideal. But man, the time it takes to edit, I don't want to do it, and I'd hate to ask someone else to do it, and I certainly can't afford it. But yeah, we're thinking through those ideas um, this week, and we're looking at all the tools. But they give a lot of really great tools for the shop and um, for auctioning and sharing live. Takes time. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I've worked. I mean, I've been editing for a few years now, and I've got all the software. But yeah, it's like nobody wants to live. Like I don't want to say nobody. I don't want to live my life twice, right? And when it comes to editing, you have to watch those videos like 5 times or more. So you have to make the video, you have to be there and be present, but then you have to sit there and watch it for cutting out these things or chopping out the good parts, and then putting it together. And then you do that multiple times, and then you have to go and work on the audio, and you have to listen to it and try to, the audio is more, as difficult, if not more difficult than the video. And so I got to this place, I was like, I'm done editing. Like, I don't want to watch my life twice. And so anyway, tell me something good. Tell me what's going on in your life. Still working? You when you're doing software development, are you working on like one project at a time, like it's this big project, or do you just like get handed, daily tasks? What do you do with uh, your software? Daily tasks. Yeah. Yeah, a long time ago, we tried to start a an app business. I think this was like right when the iPhones were, starting to get big, and we were doing cell phone repair at the time, and we found this company that taught us how to make apps, utilizing world talent on like freelance sites. And so we had hired uh, a UI developer from uh, man, this was so long ago. We had a graphic designer from the Philippines, and I don't remember who our UI designer was, but we made a calculator. It was just like a simple calculator from for the iPhone, and it was a pink calculator, and then you could change all the different elements to like customize them and personalize them. Anyways, we had about 3 or 4 people working on it. We spent as much money as we made on that one calculator, and then we couldn't continue. It was just too hard. It was just kind of outside of our scope. But it was a fun project while it lasted. But we made a calculator and sold a lot of them. Yeah, you do a lot of personal projects. Do you work on any freelance sites? The time difference is the hardest. Yeah, the time difference was the hardest for us. And I was the one assigned between our brothers. No. Well, we don't know what to do. We have 2 days till the weekend. We have been working on the flower bowls. I have finally got successful at throwing the bowl. And so I figured out the trick. I figured out the trick to get the bowl thrown. And so what I've done is I pull a cylinder where the walls are straight all the way up, and they're the same thickness, so that by the time I start splaying the walls out, then as the rim gets further, it gets thinner. And then where the wall does not go further, it stays thicker, creating a perfect gradient of thickness to support its own weight. And so we were able to finally get the bowls to hold themselves up without collapsing, and with the 2-pound bowls. And then we've got so many of them, I think 8 or 9 of them. And then I was able to get all of the bottoms trimmed. And this is how I started the first trimming. And then the next step today that we're going to do is trim the inside. So I bore the little cavity hole out, and then I'll go back and trim the flange to the cavity, and then clean out some of this thickness. And then once I do that today, I'll go back and trim the ledge into the foot. So anyways, that's what we're working on today and for this weekend. And then we're going to try to get some other things going. So we don't know. Every day we have to try to figure out what we're to do. And every day we're just not sure. Everybody's trying to survive, some more than others. But anyways, I think we'll call it and get into some sort of work. We were talking earlier about TikTok, trying to get into TikTok. We probably won't make those decisions for a little while. We haven't done anything on it yet. Yeah, everything. We're really spread thin here, trying to do it all. Right now, I need to make some marketing material for our packages since we just started selling. Now that we're shipping products, we have to figure out what to put in the boxes with the products. So we need to create like a care card, so people know how to care for their works. Maybe a business card or some promotional material, things like that. So now I've got to go turn on my design software and start thinking up something there. That's a big one. And we need to update our websites. We have right now we have the cups. Our website has a lot of work, but these are all the cups that we have on our website, and so we sell these. They started out as sake cups, and then we have expanded. I think this one just sold. Was this the one that sold?
Mm-hmm. Bring joy.
Oh yeah, this is the cup. Let me see if our showcase. So this is the cup we just sold last night. It's titled "Bring Joy." So it's a real beautiful yellow blue cup. but yeah, we started with the cups because that's all we had. And then once we got that rolling, then we started adding some of our other pieces. And but a lot of the work that I have for sale is work that I've made all the way back to like 2019, because I've never sold work. I've never sold my own work, and so I've had pieces that didn't sell from some of the shops I was in, and so now I'm figuring out how to offer those as I try to get this business started. Yeah, no, that is not happening. A millionaire. I think the only way that's going to happen is if something happens with social media and people just decide to donate. But with pottery, right now I'm a very slow potter. I make pottery very slow. So we barely make our rent. We barely make our rent. But it's okay. We give all glory to God. We're in it for Him and to give Him glory. We love what we do. We love creating, and that's kind of the message of our work is all of these little cups, like I call them my peeps, and each cup I make different, right? Every cup is different that you see because we're all different. Every person is different. And though we all look similar, like we're all about the same, the attributes that really make us who we are, they're all different. And so the little cups, I use those. I like to think that those are kind of my connection to my creator, because those cups can't create themselves. Like they can't make themselves. I make them and I hand make them and I walk them through the process all the way to the end, scrutinizing every detail, but yet giving them a place to have their own expression. And that's why we were discussing before about how the cups kind of have a very loose look when I'm throwing. And I throw with a very loose hand because I want to allow the cup to kind of, misshapen, because that's when you get some real natural things to take place. And then the trimming and the glazes, it's all to get each cup to have its own voice. And I see that in people. I think that that's how our Creator makes all of us in the world. It's that we're all created very similar, but yet just like we were talking about with personalities, there's only a handful of personality types. And then we all can just kind of fit in to these, to these variables. But then when we all pop out in the end and kind of find ourselves, we're completely unique individuals. We're all different. And so my creation, like my pottery, when I'm making pottery and I see all these different pieces, like I love them so much. Like there's no one out there that can love my pottery more than me. I love every piece. And a lot of times I don't love the ones that are like the most perfect and the most beautiful. I look for the ones that have the most unique expressions, the rarest pieces where I go, I've never seen this effect. I've never seen this thing or this fold or move. Those are the ones that just really excite me. And I have cups that have holes in them or they're cracked, but I keep them because they have an expression that is just, I've never gotten before. And so I kind of see that. I kind of see that in humanity and our connection to our creators, because, I just see God going, he wants us to be ourself. He wants us to be unique. He wants us to be, just to be us, right? Like all you have to do is just be yourself and you won't be like anybody else. But our world and our system wants everyone to be the same, right? They want us to look the same, act the same. We fight over, wanting to wear what the famous people are wearing. And we're all fighting to be like, famous people or well-known people. And we all want other people to be like us and to follow us, right? Like we all want to be like God. And all God's saying is just be you. Stop worrying about everybody else. Like you just be you. And I feel like this message, this is what I want to share with the world is, my little part in it is my journey, my creation, and my connection to God. And it's brought me so much joy and so much freedom once I stopped worrying about trying to make other people happy and stopped trying to, fight that rat race. Like get out, be yourself, and it works. So anyways, I think that's that. Vongo, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us for a bit. What is it? Have a good night. Sleep well. Yeah. But anyways, we'll shut this stream down. We're gonna go get some breakfast. We come in and we talk and we do our streams, our kind of like our sharing content, and then we go inside. We go back inside and have breakfast, and then we'll come back out and start thinking through what we need to actually do to do work. All right. Have a great day, you two. Have a good night. Take care.